What are people talking about critical thinking these days?
Biggest problem right now is no one trains their perception. If you don't train your perception, is whatever someone else wants to convey, you're just going to let sink in. And so what that means, if we really think about that, that means that other people are capable of controlling your mind. And even though that sounds insane.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think it's useful when we talk about perception, this word perception, it's in the context of something else, which is perspective. There is perception and there is perspective. It's very simple to understand. Whatever I see in the world is my perception. Perspective, on the other hand, is when you put yourself in the shoes of the other person and tries to see the world through their perspective. So there you have a communication advantage, because now you're not only aware just about your perceptions, but also the other person's perception. If you expand your perception to the other person that you're communicating with, now you have perspective, and perspective is always bigger. I wouldn't say controlling, but if you have perspective every time that you're interacting with others, that will give you a strategic advantage. This is actually good.
Sit on your bed one day and ask yourself, what remarkably stupid things am I doing on a regular basis to absolutely screw up my life? If you ask that question, you have to want to know the answer. That's what asking the question means. You have to decide that you want to know. You'll figure that's out so fast it'll make your hair curl. You could try it.
In cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, there is this concept called question behavior effect. When you ask yourself questions, you open loops in your head that your subconscious mind will try to answer, and it will direct you to pay attention to cues regarding the answer for that question. So it's basically directing the filter of your brain to something you're asking about. Noah St. John wrote a book about this called Affirmations, so Affirmations, which is basically taking the question behavior effect from CBT and rebranding to this new thing, which is basically having a list. You can try this. You can have a list of questions to ask yourself. Take notes every day and ask yourself questions. You will be unconsciously directed to find answers to the things that you're questioning.
I thought I was smart, but then I read this book, Being Logical, A Guide to Good Thinking by D.Q. McInerney. We all have flawed thinking because we're all human beings. No matter our intelligence level, our flawed human brains start with an emotion in our limbic system, which then travels up to our precortex to come up with the logic to justify it, not the other way around.
Is the limbic system part of the brain process for critical thinking, or just the prefrontal cortex is responsible for critical thinking? Antonio Damasio, in the book Discard This Error, also tells us that we are not thinking machines, we're feeling machines that think. Because we're feeling machines that think, we have bias. To a huge degree, our decisions, our thoughts are heavily influenced by how we feel. If we're hungry, the same situation we could apply a decision to it. If we're not hungry, a different thought process could be applied to the same situation. Why is this a challenge for critical thinking? Because our emotions live in our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind doesn't speak language. We use language in our conscious level, but our subconscious mind only talks emotions. And so when you try to translate what you're feeling using words, most of the time you can't. The challenge is the capacity to translate what we're feeling into words we can use to manage how we're feeling. Don't make critical decisions, important decisions when we're anxious, when we are sad, when we're sleepy, when we're hungry, when we're mad. Acknowledging that we're feeling machines that think can help with critical thinking. People are talking good things about critical thinking these days. It's great to see that a lot of people are consuming content that's actually useful.